Recycle groups, this is the second time that Gazelli in London have shown Recycle Group. The first time was back in 2013. So let's begin by talking about the works that are in this space. So can you tell us a little bit about what you were thinking about when you were making these pieces?
Okay, so this project it calls Keep Me Updated, Your Holiness. It's we are looking for some parallels between a virtual world and a spirit world, because you cannot touch your Wi-Fi, you know. And there are some links that we found, some parallels, and here we presented it in some series of sculptures. Here is like a basalt rocks, and this is with a smoke machine with a loading bar. And so in this project we're also inspired by Iceland, where we did first in our life as a Recycle Group photo project. It's in this room with the different photos. And this is like messages to the divine, so how divine can communicate with the people, because normally it communicates through the kind of prophets. But nowadays, everybody has these gadgets, and just to not present information incorrect, it can communicate with the people through these gadgets and tell everything at once. So, and this is why it's like a bit ironic. We showed some things like different kind of applications you can see here in the basalt rocks.
So tell us a little bit. So there are symbols on top of each of these rocks.
Yeah, there are symbols of it on the top of each basalt rock, from the mail till to cell phone and different kind of Google Plus, and so it's all connected with that. So how the divine can communicate with the people. So it's all the options, you know.
Yeah. And can you tell us a little bit about how these are actually made? Because these objects at first appear to be made of one material, but actually they're made of something else.
This piece is, of course, is a unique piece, and for example, the basalt rock we made from rubber. It's like a liquid rubber, two components, mix it together. We use this material because this is illusion. Looks like a stone, but it's not a stone. In this project, we try to find the parallels between spirit world and virtual reality. And the virtual reality try to be like a spirit world. It doesn't have body and some physical thing, but that's why we choose some recyclable material, to make some illusion.
Mm-hmm. And is the material, this recyclable material, does that illuminate something a little bit about why you call yourselves Recycle Group? What's the story between them?
The story about the Recycle Group is rather simple, because this is what the name of the first exhibition that we did together.
Okay.
And after that, we started to be Recycle, because everybody said, yeah, those guys from Recycle, because nobody know like two surnames. It's much easier, you know.
Yeah. Much easier. Kuznetsov and Blokhin.
Yeah, like two surnames. It's like what? It's like. It's easier to say like just a name of a group, and so really for us is important to work with recyclable materials, with different kind of materials that can be same as a stone, as marble, but it's not a stone. It's a bit of fake. Yeah. And the idea of this fake is very interesting for us, because it imitates something. And we very like to imitate textures. It's like, so you know, normally we are going to plein air. Maybe you know plein air, if somebody go somewhere like to make a painting.
With canvas,
we are going with the cans of silicone to take silicone shapes from any kind of rocks or something like that, to mix them together in some kind of works. For example, this one with this steam machine.
This one.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about this piece in particular then, because this is the only work in the show that has this steam smoke aspect to it.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Why is this?
This is a loading ring, and the loading it always means that waiting, and the people always waiting near the geyser
when it steams.
So this links directly back to your trip to Iceland.
Yeah, it's a link. It's like a mechanical geyser, you know.
Yeah.
So should
you
we-
don't need
sorry.
a weight. You can just push the button. Just
It's more civilized. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't have to sit around in the cold. We can make it happen. I'd like to lead everyone to have a look at this robot that's fishing out these photographs.
So with this photo, here are 15 photos that we selected from all our trip from Iceland. It was like 5 terabytes or something like that with all the footage, but at least it was rather difficult to find 15 from all these. And it's like mostly some is land art, some kind of images that you can see here.
So you were inspired by land artists.
Yeah, it's inspired by land artists and also by the Nazca Lines in Peru.
this is
Right.
Bluetooth.
Yeah, you can see Bluetooth here. So, because there are Nazca Lines in the Peru desert, where were did many centuries ago by the people who wanted gods to communicate with them. There are different kind of lines with the symbols, and in our project we have some links to the Nazca Lines, where we also thought about idea how divine can communicate, and this is like a modern Nazca Lines that can send a message.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And why the robot? Why is there a robot showing us
it's like
these
a bit
pictures?
post-human, so it's like if like the end of the times, and they will survive only such guys as this robot, and it looks like everybody die and it works.
So you're interested in
Still
this
working,
idea of a
yeah.
sort of post-human world in the future.
Yeah, and also with retrofuturism. That
Yeah,
it's
we try
rather
to
close.
fix it our time. Try to make some traces about our civilization, about virtual reality. Because this is absolutely invisible world, and if something happens with our planet,
Nobody
with
will
humans,
understand
Yeah, we don't
what's this
understand
science.
what's this. What is this?
Yeah.
That's why we create this project. Yeah.
And so for this project in particular, this series of photographs, did you guys also collaborate with another photographer?
Yeah.
Is that
This-
right?
We collaborated with a photographer. His name is Andrei Losev, who is a guy who worked with on this project. Because the first time we did a photo project, and we need to find a good professional in this area, in this sphere, and so we did it together with him. Now he is in Moscow and saying hello to everybody, but
Yeah.
In the camera.
yeah.
Hello. And so it's collaboration, because you guys collaborate together to make everything, but do you collaborate with other people in other things that you do? Is that part of your practice?
Yeah, sometimes we collaborate with the different people, like, so for example, if we want to find any technical solution to how to cut the wood or something like that, we are
Yeah.
going to guys who provide a water jet cutting or something like that. It's more useful if you want to have a more efficient result.
Sure. Yeah.
To work with the professionals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were talking a little bit about materiality of the rubber sculptures, and we've got some works here. There are also new works that are made from driftwood
Yeah.
and wood. I wonder whether we should all move round to see these other pieces and continue our tour. Everyone will get the opportunity to do a sort of
Is
Q&A at the end of this as well.
company, Olympus company.
Olympus company.
Yeah.
You tell them what you want is the name.
Yeah. We make
yeah.
the sketches.
The engineers.
They did it perfectly.
Yeah, it works.
Is that the smoke that comes out of
So this is the piece we were
It
going to
is
talk about.
inside. The smoke machine is inside of this piece. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah,
Sorry?
it's driftwood that we found in the Black Sea, and it's like it calls it Noah's Ark fragment. So the idea of Noah's Ark to preserve and to keep all important things inside it. So here we tried to keep like Instagram, mail, Google Plus. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So it's like one of the part of this big installation in Venice.
Yeah, so this was part of an exhibition that these guys had that was during the Venice Biennale of this year.
Yep.
And tell us a little bit more about that. Was there a different sort of theme for that show?
It calls Conversion. It's exhibition. It was in Venice. It's a collateral event of Venice Biennale. So it was in an old church. It called Saint Antonin, and there we show the parallels as here between virtual and spiritual. And we found a lot of funny things, like, for example, as before, in the most highest points in Europe, you can see crosses. And on the opposite side of these crosses now is cell phone antennas, you know?
Okay,
yeah. That's true, because it needs to cover the area.
And the best funniest thing that we find in the bell tower in this church also the cell phone antennas.
Yeah, Vitel and T-Mobile, you know, really, when we climb up.
So the church spire has got a different use now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is just one of the parallels. For example, the Facebook has like a 10 precedes like a 10 commandments like in the religion, and if you follow these 10 commandments, Facebook promised you a profile forever life.
Yeah, it's like virtual paradise or maybe hell, nobody knows still.
And should we continue the tour upstairs? There's a few more works to see, and we'll be doing a Q&A with the guys afterwards as well. So any questions that you've got burning away that we don't cover, do get involved. Okay, so we've got 4 works up here. So what let's talk about this this wooden piece here as a sort of follow-on from the wooden piece downstairs. So this work was also part of the Venice Biennale show.
Yeah, it was also part of the Venice Biennale show. It calls Connection. It's like a connection of Skype between the different, like a Pinocchio connection, you know, of the wooden one. And there is a Skype signs that it's like a little bit as a bone of dinosaurs, you know, like in historical museums. Because we try to figure out what kind of traces will be remained in the cultural ground of this virtual world, and this is one of examples of Skype connection. So,
Yeah. So, I think we should open up for some questions. Who's got a question to ask these guys? Yes, please.
You have all the signs of Skype and Instagram, all these companies.
Yeah.
Did they approach you somehow afterwards, or
No.
did they comment somehow?
No.
Because you're using them, not in a negative way, but somehow still commenting on the use of this social media communication.
Yeah, but it's fine. So anyway, it was started by Andy Warhol many years ago with the Campbells. That's why we really don't.
But the companies, they
no.
didn't approach you.
Because how long these are only relatively like 10 years old, these Facebooky, YouTubey things. In 50 years they'll all be history anyway. Probably.
Yeah.
Unless anyway, there will be lots of new things to come.
Yeah. So it should be in history anyway, but there is no so many material traces of the Facebook, so it's real. All these traces are online.
We try to make like a future archaeology.
Yeah, like future archaeology.
Future archaeology.
Yeah, how it can be in the future, like a kind of retrofuturism.
And you know what's it called? The House of the Holy. What's the Led Zeppelin cover with the Giant's Causeway? Do you have it in Iceland? Do you have bits of that in Iceland? The hexagonal.
Yeah.
You do.
So the Giant's Causeway is a sort of natural phenomena, isn't it, in Ireland? And it's a sort of stone. I don't know exactly what it is actually, but it's like a sort of stone. Is it fossils? Fossilized trees or something? Volcanic rock?
It's the cooling of the lava, basically with the lava field.
Okay, right.
Basically, when the cold water met the lava field, creating hexagonal shapes.
Oh, I see.
Basically, it leads from the coast of Antrim, it's supposed to go all the way to Scotland in terms of the land, and obviously, as the ice age has melted away, the table of the water has rise. So that's how the creation is phenomenon.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any more questions from anybody?
Quick question.
Yes.
How do you decide what material to use in your work? Is it something that you come up with an idea and you immediately know, or do you experiment with a few different things before deciding on the end product?
We always try to find some new materials, and we did a lot of experiment with materials. And but anyway, first of all, we make a lot of sketches and work on the idea, and then we try to find the body of this idea. And when we find the good balance between idea and material, we do it.
Yes.
I haven't seen your earlier work. Does this thematically relate to what you were working with prior, or is this a new body?
It's a bit different because before we used to work with the different materials from styrofoam to some kinetic pieces. But anyway, we're still working with the kinetic. We're still working with new materials. So anyways, first time we worked with the woods in Venice project, for example. But before we preferred some synthetic materials.
Was the theme the future? Was it thematically similar to your earlier work?
The thematic was rather linked to the future archaeology also, and the first project was about how to show the nature by the synthetic materials, how it can be in synthetic materials, and it was one of the first themes that we started to work with. Also, one of the first project was connected with the cell phones and all this. So one of the first works was like transparent cubes with a personal life of one person who has a mobile phone. So you can check what's there in the phone, all the photos through the resin gloves, like in a laboratory. So it was like one of the first projects that we started with such kind of virtuality.
And you guys have been working together since 2006, is that right?
2008,
2008
was the first exhibition as a recycling.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we know each other from childhood. Our parents is artists too, and that's why we are working from childhood, I think.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Would you be able to explain more just the mechanical arm of the robot? Because I like the idea that you said that, in the post-human era, the robots just exhibiting. So, for want of a better phrase, they're going through formalities of exhibiting the work. Something that you would explain a bit more?
Yeah, we thought that it's the best way to show works, especially like photos. That it's one of exposition tricks that we wanted to make. And we like technology very much, and first time when we used to work with a robot, with this company who provided us, so it was just interesting experience, such kind of the post-human story of post-human background, and this concept really was interesting for us to make it link with the robot's arm.
Anybody else? Don't be shy. All right. Well, look, thanks, guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Stick around. We'll all be here. We can answer any questions you might want to talk to us about personally as well. But thanks for coming to the show.
Thank you.
And yeah,
Enjoy.
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 Yeah.